So let's talk shop organization. So if your shops are anything like mine was and kind of still is, it was a little bit of a mess. It made it hard to find things. Everything didn't have a place. And then I started putting some stuff together. You can see behind me, I've got a French cleat wall here, and I've been using and building all kinds of different attachments for it so that I can actually organize my tools and anything else, my supplies, and be able to find them a little bit easier. But one of the challenges, even after having this French cleat wall for quite a while now, was sandpaper. And what do I do with it? Initially, and let me know in the comments if any of you have the same issue that I had. I've got and had for quite a while all of my sandpapers stored in this bin. And what would happen whenever I'm going to look for a specific sandpaper, I've got to sort through and, let's say I want a 220 grit. I've got to look through it and go, okay, there's my 60s. You can see them marked on the back. There's my 120. I can go over here and I've got a 320 there, and then I've got a 240 as well. So I'd have to spend time actually going through it to find the one that I needed. In addition to that, I've got all of these attachments for my sander. This is a foam pad. These here are adapters for the net sanding paper that I use on my orbital sander as well. So I don't know why I didn't do this sooner, but I needed to find a way to organize these to make it a lot easier for me to find. And on my French cleat wall on this side, I've got a lot of space. So that's when I thought to myself, why don't I just make a shelf for the sandpaper where I can actually separate it by grit. I don't want to spend any money on materials for this. So what I did is I looked around in my shop with some of my sheet goods and I found some extra stuff. So first of all, I found this. This is a 1/4 inch engineered plywood that I got from the big box store. This is actually what I used as a top for my work table here, and I just stained it darker. But I had a little bit of this left. I had enough pieces where I would be able to make these different shelves here. And I've got 6 shelves for 6 different grits. So I thought to myself, well, this is perfect. I'm going to use this 1/4 inch material up. The next thing I needed was something for the sides, for a backing, as you can see here. And then in order to adapt it onto my French cleat wall, I need a piece of wood, preferably not an MDF or anything, that I can cut at a 45-degree angle. And so I scoured through my wood pile and I found a whole bunch of stuff that I could use. So in addition to this plywood, which was, as you can see, more than enough to build these shelves, I found a bunch of 1/2 inch MDF that I had. Now, when I say a bunch, I'm talking one piece that was about 6 inches wide and was roughly around 2 feet long, 24 inches. And then I thought to myself, this is perfect. It's 6 inches. These discs are only 5 inch. So that'll work great. And so what I did a sketch on, and when I say sketch, literally drawing it on a piece of paper, is the different measurements for this, including some dados right here for these to be able to slide into, so that way they're nice and strong. They're nice and solid in there. And so here's what I ended up doing. And this is something that you can do and make variations of in your own shop, likely with some materials that you already have. So if you can build this out of some scrap wood, even better. This is only 4 inches wide. All right. And this is 19 3/4 inches long. Inside here, the spacing is 5 inches and 1/8. Now, these are a 5-inch diameter. So the idea was that it fits right inside and it has a little bit of movement back and forth. The reason for that is just to accommodate when I have a stack that's not quite even, so that way it fits in there nice and snug. It's not going to slide out. So this back piece here that goes all the way from the top all the way down to the bottom is also 19 3/4 inches high, and it's a 1/2 inch. And what I've done is put it in between these two pieces, making it at 5 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so that's how I did the sides and the backing. For these slots, I'm going to pull this piece out. These are 1/4 inch slots. Okay, so for these 1/4 inch slots, all I used was my dado blade. We look at regular saw blades, the kerf on them, which is the thickness of the blade, is typically 1/8 of an inch. On a dado blade, the kerf is a 1/4 inch on the teeth. So it worked out perfectly because this is 1/4 inch material. So I put that dado saw blade onto my radial arm saw, and I ran each of these pieces through with a 3-inch spacing in between and ran them through to make my cuts. And I did those cuts all the way through. So if you look at the back side here, you'll see that the dados come through. But to me, that doesn't matter because this side is going to be facing the wall. So aesthetically, who cares what that looks like, right? So after I did the dados, the next thing that I did is I put a bead of glue on either side of this backer board here, all the way down. So I just use a bead of wood glue. It does hold MDF pretty good, which is all this is made out of. And then I put a few dabs of CA glue to hold it in place. Once I sprayed the activator onto it and I had it held in place, I then used 5 brad nails on either side to hold it in. Now, the next thing that I did is I put a bottom on it. Now, you might be wondering, why is it that I left about 1 inch of space at the bottom? And the reason why I did that is because I have these adapter pieces for the mesh pads, and these adapter pieces are going to fit in there nice and snug underneath the first shelf. I don't need a huge shelf for those because I only have 2 of them. I could do that. The other option that I could do with this is use my foam pads, and I could put the foam pads in there as well, and I could fit 2 of those because these are about 1/2 of an inch thick. So entirely up to you if you want to do that, but it fit beautifully underneath. I cut another piece here that's the same width as this one at 5 1/8, and it's got a depth of 4 inches, and then I did the same thing. I glued it on the sides, and then I brad nailed it in. After I did that, I then had a piece of pine left over. This is actually a cutoff from this piece here. And because I have done all of these attachments for the French cleat wall already, I had some of this left over. This is simply cut on a 45-degree angle on my table saw. All right, so because I had some of this left, I trimmed it down to be the overall width of the shelf. The overall width, which was 6 inches, just over 6 inches. Okay, it doesn't have to be exact, but the reason I wanted this to go to the other edges is so that way I could, just like I did on the other parts, I could brad nail it in here, and that brad nail would go all the way into here, so it would provide it some strength to hold on. Keeping in mind, it's only holding sandpaper. It's not a lot of weight. So one of these on a French cleat wall is more than enough. In addition to that, this entire thing is also glued on the back side as well. So that held it in place really good. And so once I got the everything put together, I got it glued, I got it nailed. I then took these pieces here, and you'll see that it comes to kind of a point there where it branches out. Well, this part where it branches out is intended to go into the slots. So it goes in like this, and it sits flush here, but then it's got this rounded part. And to cut the rounded part, this was so easy. I put the piece of sandpaper on it like that, and I traced a piece of sandpaper to go around the edge. Okay, once I had that around the edge done, I took this over to my bandsaw. I simply cut along the line that I had, and then I cut straight out on either side to allow this tapered out piece to fit into the dado slots. All right. Once I had that done on the bandsaw, I then went over to the sander and just cleaned up all of the edges. And in order to make sure they were uniform, I stacked them all together. I put some painter's tape around them and then sanded and cleaned them up all together. So it actually worked out really well. Once I had that done, a little bit of hand sanding on this because it's a 1/4 inch. It's a very thin veneer. I just did sanding to just enough on the top and the bottom to get it smooth. Keeping in mind, this may or may not be a project that you're selling. This is a project for organization in the wood shop. So then once I had that all sanded up, then they fit in here perfectly. Now, I don't know about any of you, but I don't like the look of MDF personally. I do use it when I have to, but if I can, I prefer to paint it. And then so I just took with this a can of black semi-gloss spray paint, and I painted this thing up, let it dry for a couple of hours, and it's good to go. The nice part about this is that I can take this whole bucket here and I can put each of these away in their own little section, nice and neat, separated by grit, just like this. So that way it is nice and organized. And I'm a huge fan of organization. I don't do it as much as I should, but I absolutely love being organized. The nice part about this is it takes my sandpaper bin down to only my flat sandpaper stock, which I'll probably make another shelf for at some point. But now I've got everything on a shelf. The other cool part about this is it's a little awkward sometimes to reach in here if you need to grab something. So you can slide these out. I could secure these, but I prefer not to. I prefer to have them where I can slide them out and then I can slide them back in. So because of that, if you're going to be sliding them out and sliding them in, you need to make sure you've got a little bit of extra wiggle room inside these dado slots where these can move around, because it's going to make it easier. But the nice part is you could pull it all the way out to here if you wanted to, and it's not going to go anywhere. So this is just one organization option for sandpaper, but you can do so many different variations of this. You could cut these off and make it completely flush at the front. You can do designs and whatnot on the side. You can use different woods for this. It really depends on how much you want it to be aesthetically pleasing. That's one of the reasons why I did the black on here, because it looks a little bit better to me, and it suits my shop a little bit well. But the nice part is I'm not going to have to worry about this bucket anymore, because that bucket is absolutely insane. Trying to go through it and fish through and find stuff, and oh, that's a used piece, that's a new piece, right? It happened to me all the time. It was that way for years. I don't know why I didn't do this sooner, but I really wish that I had of. It's an awesome project. It's cheap to build. You can use the materials in your shop if you've got them. A lot of us have these materials laying around. You want to make it 3/4 of an inch thick and not half an inch thick? Go for it. It really doesn't matter. But the more organized that you can be in your shop, the more efficient you're going to be able to bust out those projects even faster that you're making for family, friends, or ones that you're selling. And faster means more money in the bank, which is exactly what we want. And so with this project now all done, it's time to put it on the French cleat wall, and let's see how it looks. See how it hooks in there? So nice. I can't say enough about how good French cleat walls are. They're handy because you can build anything. I've got a stereo holder, a holder for router bits, all kinds of different things. So French cleat walls are awesome, and the strength that these have are insane. Just from a 45-degree angle cut, not secured at all. You just lift it up and pull it off the shelf, and you can move every single shelf around wherever you want on the entire French cleat system. So it works really well. But look at that. I mean, me personally, I think it looks pretty sharp. I wasn't going for super fancy, but with that black paint, that really made that sandpaper shelf stand out, which is amazing. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit like down at the bottom and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Those subscriptions and watching our videos, it just builds the community even faster. It helps us out and making more and more of these videos, which is amazing. We love doing it and being able to share the different types of ideas and tips and tricks and that sort of stuff with all of you. So your support is absolutely huge. And don't forget to check out the community tab on the homepage of the channel. There's stuff being posted in there all the time. Polls, quizzes, all kinds of different stuff. It's just meant to kind of build knowledge a little bit more, have a little bit of fun with it, see what you know and what you might be able to learn. So don't forget to check that out too. In addition to that, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this. Until next time, happy cutting.